Yeah, so we're on chapter 2, the effect of thought on circumstances. Man is buffeted by circumstances so long as he believes himself to be the creature of outside conditions. But when he realizes that he is a creative power and that he may command the hidden soil and seeds of his being, out of which circumstances grow, he then becomes the rightful master of himself. सारा टाइम हम लोग यही थॉट में चलते रहते हैं कि मेरे साथ ऐसे कैसे हो गया, यू नो कुछ ना कुछ, व्हाई इज सो मेनी रॉन्ग थिंग्स हैपनिंग फॉर मी. You need to actually realize that the more you get bogged down with whatever is in your external circumstances and you give in, the more you're giving it the power. Because जो आपके outside circumstances में है, that is there and common for all, but the way it is reacting or the way it is landing on you or landing inside you, that is an issue. And when we come from a perspective of just letting it go, हाँ यार मेरे साथ तो ऐसे ही होता है, I know my life is like this only, can't help it, we are actually giving it more power. Because the true power of our mind, of our thought, which is available with each and every one of us, ये कोई ऐसी पावर नहीं है कि खाली सुपरमैन के पास है क्योंकि उसने वो क्रिप्टोन लिया हुआ है, या पॉपॉय के पास है कि उसने वो स्पिनिच ले लिया तो ही इज गॉट द एक्स्ट्रा पावर्स. नो, दैट पावर ऑफ दैट thought and that power of being a rightful master of yourself is actually there in each and every one of us, irrespective of who, where, race, caste, creed, your sex, it doesn't matter. That power is there inside all of us. But जब हम अपने circumstances के आगे हाथ झुका देते हैं कि नहीं यार ऐसे ही होता है, लाइफ इज लाइक दिस, लाइफ इज हार्ड, व्हाट आर वी डूइंग? जो सर्कमस्टांसेस हैं, इट्स ओके, यू नीड टू बी अवेयर ऑफ दो सर्कमस्टांसेस कि हाँ ये हो रहा है. प्रोबेबली यू आर नॉट comfortable with it, it's okay. Life is not necessary always comfortable or always uncomfortable. It's a rainbow, all colors need to be there. बट जब हम उस एक्सटर्नल सर्कमस्टांस को ये थॉट के साथ, जो हमारी पावर है, उस थॉट की पावर के साथ ये देते हैं कि नहीं यार ये तो ऐसे ही होता है, थिंग्स आर लाइक दिस ओनली, माय लाइफ इज अ स्ट्रगल, दिस दैट व्हाटएवर, दैट इज वेयर वी आर फॉलोइंग वीक. Whereas if we come from that perspective and that realization that we are the rightful master of ourselves and that power of that thought or that seed is within us, each one of us. Yes, similar circumstances may, the way everybody behaves or bees is totally on that individual. There was a story about this twins, okay, identical twins, born to the same parents, born and brought up in the same family, in the same circumstances. This was somewhere in Sweden. Now, the father did not work, was a raging alcoholic, and the father used to every day create a ruckus in the house, and generally sometimes used to end up beating his wife, so their mother. So now both kids saw the exact same thing. कि फादर कोई काम नहीं कर रहा है, पैसे कम है, and whatever money he is earning, he is just spending on alcohol, and whatever money they have is, being used to buy his alcohol, and sometimes he is also beating up our mother. Twin 1, twin 2, both saw the same thing. And when they conducted this research, after 22 years, twin A was living the exact same life like his father. But whereas twin B was a much more successful man with a much more functional and a happy family. And when both of them were interviewed, that you both had the same set of experiences, same set of circumstances, same family, nearly everything is the same. Your blood group is the same, your time of birth is also nearly the same, you look exactly the same. How is it that one followed the father and the other was opposite of the father? Is the way that circumstance impacted on the inside. So one twin realized that this is not how things should be. उसकी same upbringing है, same तकरीबन same scenarios have for making that conditioning of his brain. But he realized that this is something which I do not approve of. And he took that experience in that stride and, was exactly the opposite of what his father was. And on a similar experience, similar set of beliefs, similar set of circumstances, the other twin accepted it that this is reality. Life ऐसे ही होती है, ऐसे ही families में जिया जाता है. And he became the same like his father. So was there anything different in terms of the circumstances or the experience both of them were going through? Not much, maybe 1 or 2% here and there. But 98, 90%, it was the same. But after 22 years, when they evaluated these two individuals, they were poles apart in terms of their behavior, in terms of the money they were earning, in terms of, their family life, in terms of the functionality in the family, all aspects. So जो circumstance है, वो है. We should not be in a position to, just give in to the circumstance. We need to evaluate things and realize that we are the right master of ourselves. And that power is within us. That power of that thought and that power of that choice to change that seed so that we get a different and a, more appropriate fruit. That power is within each one of us. It's not hidden. You don't need to go there, go outside for it. It's there inside all of us. That circumstances grow out of thought. Every man knows who has for any length of time practiced self-control and self-purification. For he will have noticed that the alteration in his circumstances has been in exact ratio with his altered mental condition. So true is that when a man earnestly applies himself to remedy the defects in his character and makes swift and marked progress, he passes rapidly through a succession of vicissitudes. At the end of the day, जब हम वो चीज प्रैक्टिस करनी शुरू करते हैं, where we start practicing being more consciously aware, where we start practicing being, start practicing self-control, start working on ourselves in terms of, purifying our own self, we actually start to realize that जो भी हम काम कर रहे हैं, वो हमारी circumstances, which is outside, it has that same exact proportion. It works on the exactly directly proportional to the way we start working on ourselves. And that is when we realize that हम जो अब कर रहे हैं उसमें हमें different results मिल रहे हैं, and probably those are the results that we actually desire. See, at the end of the day, whatever is it that you sow, you are going to harvest that. And nobody in this entire universe can change this law. It's true for vegetation, it is true for human beings, it is true for everywhere where we are sowing a seed. The harvest will be as per what has been sown. But जब हम उसमें ये realize कर लेते हैं, or the key is here is again is practicing. And once we start practicing and changing that seed and start practicing a bit of self-control, a bit of working on ourselves, purifying ourselves, start being more mindful, being consciously aware, we realize that जो हमारे अब results हैं, after the change we have with what we have done, after the change of knowing and practicing and working on your own self and your thoughts and that seed of thought, that the results you get in terms of your changed circumstances are nearly directly proportional to your effort and to your practice. So जब हम उस चीज में consciously एक choice बना के अपने आप पे काम करना शुरू करेंगे, nowhere it says that you work on your external circumstances. No. You are your only responsibility, and you can only work on yourself. You cannot change what is outside of you, be it a person, be it a situation, be it an event, be it any circumstance. You have no control, absolutely no control over what is outside of you. But what is inside of you, you are the master. You are the creator. So जो outside से पुराने ज़माने में, we see these war epics, they have those forts. So अगर वो पुराने ज़माने में there's a war situation going on and we have a lot of these arrows coming towards our fort, if we have our guards up, the arrows won't be able to penetrate so easily. They will only be able to penetrate through your guard. And your guard is what you make in terms of when you practice on your own self, in terms of being consciously aware, in terms of being more mindful, in terms of practicing self-control. So हम बाहर के circumstances में कोई control नहीं कर सकते, but हम अपनी एक shield बना सकते हैं, so that जो वो बाहर से आ रहा है, it does not penetrate, and if it does penetrate through our shield, the intensity is so less that we will be able to manage it. Yes, Al.
But yeah, so this morning I'm just sharing something and then I have a question attached with it. So my Mehndi artist was
Only with
supposed
question
to.
right now.
Sorry?
Only with the question right now.
Then I'll ask. Okay, so basically there was this situation morning where I tried to practice this thing that I need to change the seed thought. when I was doing that, my heart wanted to do that, but mind बीच में से आ गया था, ऐसे कैसे, मुझे तो इस चीज पे गुस्सा चढ़ रहा है, तो मेरे को, and then I corrected myself कि मुझे गुस्सा इसीलिए चढ़ना क्योंकि मेरी सोच अभी तक उधर. So what I'm trying to say is बहुत मुश्किल से I was like नहीं साहिला, मेरे को ये करना ही करना, I need to change my thought. मतलब जिसे कहते हैं बहुत ज्यादा पुश करके, but still थोड़ा कम हुआ, but हुआ. So is it just because of lack of practice only?
Yes, yes. See that what I was just referring, जितनी strong हमारी shield होगी, उतनी हमारी power होगी to control what is outside. Because नहीं तो outside का influence अंदर आने में, for example, I was just watching a video कि एक bulletproof जो शीशा होता है, a bulletproof glass shield has the protection of even absorbing the effect of a molten lava. So they had this slab of glass sheets, bulletproof glass, and they melted a few rocks, made molten lava, and they actually put molten lava on that glass, and they put it for good 5-10 minutes. So there were a few cracks. There were a few इधर first layer टूट गई थी, second layer भी टूट गई थी, but there were I think 4 layers. But that lava could not penetrate. Why? Because उस लेयर में हमने एक काम करके एक ऐसी चीज बनाई है that whatever is outside is not able to penetrate inside. And at the end of the day, they had a very funny notion कि लोग कहते हैं, हिंदी में थोड़ी सी डबिंग भी थी, कि लोग कहते हैं जिनके घर शीशे के होते हैं उनको दूसरों के घरों पे पत्थर नहीं मारने चाहिए, नेक्स्ट टाइम अपने शीशे ना अपने घर बुलेट प्रूफ शीशे से बनवाना, मोल्टेन लावा भी अंदर नहीं आ पाएगा. That's the shield you build, and that is with practice. So अगर आज माइंड के साथ काम करने में 5 या 10 मिनट लगे, हो सकता है उसका इफेक्ट 10 मिनट, 5 आधा घंटा रहा हो, दोबारा फिर से वो चीज हिट कर जाए, and we might just fall into the prey of the mind. But once we become more mindful, more consciously aware, we will be able to build a shield that really lasts. The soul attracts that which it secretly harbors, that which it loves, and also that which it fears. It reaches the highest of its cherished aspirations. It falls to the level of its unchastened desires, and circumstances are the means by which the soul receives its own. So जो भी हमारे साथ हो रहा है, उसमें हमारा soul is a part, and it's probably a very important and a significant part, because he is attracting exactly what is it that we as individuals are here in this body with this mind. Not necessary what in our present circumstances we love. So it could be something that we love, something that is very, very comfortable, but it could be something in which we are fearful. It could be something in which we are very uncomfortable. Everything is possible. Life is a rainbow and will be. It's very rare to come across a person जिसने खाली love देखा हो और जिसने खाली fear देखा हो. Everybody has something or the other. It's a mix and match. It always is, and it always will be. But when you are coming from that premise of that understanding कि ये मेरे लिए, this situation is there to teach me something, give me something, probably take something away from me, or just there to bless me. because the soul is strongly responsible for how things are happening or turning into your life. हमें पता नहीं लगता है बिकॉज हम उसकी लैंग्वेज को म्यूट करके बैठे हैं और हम माइंड की लैंग्वेज ज्यादा सुनते हैं. इट इज ओनली व्हेन वी म्यूट the mind or still the mind that we start actually listening to our soul. नहीं तो सारा टाइम माइंड अपना चबड़ 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 शुरू करता रहता है. So who we are, and the soul will actually give you certain hints, certain clues as to what is it that you need to plant in your thought. वो आपको वो ऑप्शंस भी देगा कि अगर ये फीलिंग नहीं आ रही तो ये थॉट अगर नहीं चल रही है तो ये इस थॉट को चेंज कर दे. And in terms of your gut feel, the first language, the first word you get, or the first thought, first feeling is from your soul. But mind smartly, yeah, the nahi, nahi, yaar, this is not possible. This is practically not possible. That's it. The time you have this thought and it says it's practically not possible, remember, mind always wants and runs after being practical. The soul runs after the lesson. उस टाइम पे you need to switch your mind and try to listen कि वो soul क्या बोलना चाह रहा. Every thought seed sown or allowed to fall into the mind and to take root there produces its own blossoming sooner or later into act and bearing its own fruitage of opportunity and circumstance. Good thoughts bear good fruit, bad thoughts, bad fruit. So at the end of the day, जो भी हमने seed डाला है उस thought में, in form of that, in the form of that thought, हमें उसी का fruit मिलेगा. It's not possible कि मैं एप्पल का सीड डालूं और मुझे ऑरेंज मिल जाए. No. If it's a seed of apple, I will get apples. If it's a seed of orange, I will get orange. So when we are sowing that seed in form of that thought, we actually need to be very consciously aware and be very, very mindful of our creation कि हम क्या करने लगे हैं. Because अगर हमने वहां पे कुछ नहीं किया तो कुछ वीड सीड थॉट भी तो आ सकता है ना. सो वहां पे क्या प्लांट करना है, दैट इज गोइंग टू डिसाइड द फ्रूट. या सुप्रिया.
Yeah, then so I always get confused about this. Sometimes when the situations are not in your control and you don't know what's happening, why, where's the lesson. Sometimes I usually practice surrender a lot. So mostly when I begin my day, I do the gratitude and then I surrender my day to universe, source, God, Guruji, whoever you believe in. That
Why surrender? I didn't get you. Surrender your day.
surrender in the sense, remember once we had also in one of the books had talked about surrender, like surrender to the will of whatever the best needs to happen will happen, right? When you,
Okay.
yeah, that surrender basically. So
Mhm.
if अगर हम मतलब अगर हमने ही क्रिएट करना है तो सरेंडर कैसे, how does that work? Because
Is surrender working for you?
sometimes it has, sometimes it hasn't. Yeah.
Why? When it's working at times, do you know why? And when it's not working at times, do you know why?
When it's not working, I know that the mind has really been very active and has been constantly doing the chatter, and one is trying to silent and try and cut the thought process. So that's something I've tried to practice a lot, where remember that exercise where you had said, हमने आई थिंक पावर ऑफ नाउ में किया था या किस में किया था, माइंड वाला एक्सरसाइज जो था।
Power of
तो हाँ, करेक्ट। तो सो वो बहुत ट्राई करते हैं, बट समटाइम्स व्हेन सिचुएशंस आर जस्ट they take you to a very low frequency, then it's like, now I can't do anything, there's nothing much that I can figure out, and I surrendered. Whatever needs to be done or whatever needs to happen, make it happen.
Then what happened to the surrender in the morning? Where is that surrender now?
Surrender
See,
in the
you can't
morning.
use just the word for the sake of the word. When you surrender, you give it that trust and you have full faith. So when your trust and faith gets shattered, and that is the time you actually are not exactly surrendering, you are giving in to the other situation,
Hmm.
considering कि यार अब तो मेरे से नहीं हैंडल हो रहा, मतलब आपकी शील्ड वीक है, आपका ट्रस्ट
Correct.
और फेथ उस सरेंडर पे, उस द सुप्रीम पावर पे कम है. So what you need to do is actually work on that seed of trust and faith. If you want to surrender, that is a thought. Excellent thought. But उस सरेंडर को ट्रस्ट और फेथ का पानी तो देना पड़ेगा ना, तभी वो वैल्यू करेगा ना.
Right.
तो एवरीथिंग विल बी अ थॉट. चाहे मैं सरेंडर बोलूं, चाहे मैं I come from a concept of, everything is being done through me. And I'm not doing anything on my own, because I have that trust and that faith and that knowing that all is one. But जहाँ मेरा सरेंडर का जो वो मैं उसको एनर्जी देना की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ, you water it with more trust, more faith, because that's a thought you're taking.
Yeah, correct. But sometimes also it's like, is the universe giving me a sign that, this is not meant to be? Like, why am I forcing it? If something is not meant to be, is the universe giving me signs by sending these situations again and again? Fine.
Very clear. If it's a pattern repeating and you are not okay with it, that means आपने lesson नहीं learn किया अभी तक. यही तो
हाँ,
हम बात
करेक्ट।
कर रहे हैं.
लेसन तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा ना। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेसन तो पता ही नहीं चल रहा। ठीक है, प्रैक्टिकल चीजें पता चल रही हैं, बट सोल लेवल पे, इमोशनल लेवल पे, फीलिंग लेवल पे, पहले मुझे लगता था दैट आई नीड टू लर्न मोर पेशेंस, तो आई हैव बीन ट्राइंग टू प्रैक्टिस मोर एंड मोर एंड मोर, एंड आई ऑल्दो I know I'm very patient. I have been with many things, but yes, maybe that is what I really need to work on also. Patience, calmness.
See,
But
if I
अगर
honestly
अगर
speaking, yeah, go ahead.
नहीं, अगर आपको लेसन ही नहीं पता चल रहा और सिचुएशन बार बार ही आ रही है, तो लॉट ऑफ टाइम आई आई हैव प्रैक्टिस सरेंडर कि ठीक है, लेट मी नॉट, मैं नहीं ट्रिगर होंगी, जिसको जैसे बोलना है, जो भी कुछ बोलो, आई एम नॉट गोना लेट दैट अफेक्ट माई सेल्फ. So it carries on for a few days. You're like, okay, it's fine, it's not me, okay, let me not think that I am not good enough. बट व्हेन वो सिचुएशन बार बार ही रिपीट होती जा रही है, तो जो सोल को जो लेसन लर्न करना है वो नहीं ना पता चल रहा, प्रैक्टिकली क्या करना है वो तो पता है.
See,
प्रैक्टिकली
जो
क्या करना
सोल
है.
को नहीं पता लग रहा है लेसन, उसमें भी there are so many things. I mean, it's not that easy that वो decode किया language C++, decode किया lesson आ गया. No. Okay? In any situation, again repeating, in any situation, what is outside of you, you will never have any control. And you can never change.
Yeah,
सो अगर
correct,
हमारे
correct.
को
Hmm.
ये पता लग रहा है कि हम पेशेंस, वी आर मोर पेशेंट, we got over the period of time, you've developed more patience, but still we feel that the patience is not complete. That means patience lesson is not complete. That is a clear understanding right now from whatever you have told me, that
Hmm.
patience is one lesson which came to you at the first
Hmm.
go,
Yeah.
and you feel that you have had a lot of patience from where you were coming and from where you are right now,
Hmm.
but you still feel that patience is still not enough. Very clear, the lessons of patience is not complete.
Hmm. Okay. Sure.
Because one, I know this is there, and one, I know this is complete, and one, अब मैं कह रहा हूँ कि नहीं वो मेरा complete नहीं हुआ. So where is the sign from the soul? It's there, because
Hmm.
it's there in your way of speaking as well.
Hmm.
Whatever is the circumstances, you know it better. But whatever you are
Yeah.
saying, I'm just trying to take the
Hmm.
clues from there as to what is the soul
Okay.
trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about a situation where we start our day with a fantastic feeling, I
Hmm.
surrender, and
Hmm.
somehow, it works for some time and it does not work for some time,
Hmm.
then that surrender is not coming from the premise of that
Of trust.
trust and faith.
Hmm.
And that surrender could be
Hmm.
more of a premise as a defense mechanism of the
Hmm.
body and the mind.
ओके कि
Because
मुझसे तो होगा नहीं तो मैं सरेंडर ही कर देती हूँ.
हाँ, तो जब वो थॉट आ गई कि मेरे से तो होगा नहीं, मैं सरेंडर ही कर देती हूँ, दैट इज अ डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म.
बट वो तो फाइट करना बहुत टफ है. उसको तो फाइट करना बहुत टफ है. मतलब अगर आप इट्स लाइक जो लिखा है वो तो होना ही है ना डेस्टिनी में. वो तो.
अग्रीड. बट
हम्म.
डेस्टिनी में ये तो नहीं लिखा ना कि जो जो होना है उसमें आप हमेशा परेशान ही रहो. आप लेसन हंसते खेलते भी सीख सकते हो. यू कैन हैव अ सर्जरी विच इज पेनफुल बट स्टिल लाफिंग.
या सो यू आर
There are
सेइंग
people who do.
बी जॉयफुल इन व्हाटएवर सर्कमस्टेंस. चाहे बुरी हो या अच्छी हो, जॉयफुल रहो बेसिकली, राइट?
हाँ,
बट होता
हैप्पीनेस,
नहीं है ना.
जॉय, ब्लिस, ये 3 चीजें तो हम मास्टर करने आए हैं यहाँ. वहीं से तो
एग्जैक्टली.
लव शुरू होगा, वहीं से तो हम लव पे पहुंचेंगे. दैट
तो ऑनेस्ट.
अनकंडीशनल लव, द स्टेपिंग
हाँ.
स्टोन्स इज हैप्पीनेस, जॉय एंड ब्लिस.
राइट. तो बहुत ट्राई भी, आई मीन आई थिंक टू सम एक्सटेंट मैंने बीच में किया भी था कि ठीक है जो हो गया, आई एम जस्ट गोना
Yeah,
बी हैप्पी.
I'll be very clear with you. If
हम्म.
it works for you for 2 days,
हम्म.
and if it does not work for you one day,
हम्म.
that does not mean it's not working. If it does not have to work, it will not work a single day, not even a single hour. But if it works,
हम्म.
because your mind and the way you are is not constant, it's always changing.
हम्म.
Your cells,
ओके.
practically trillion cells inside of you, are changing every 3 to 6 months. You are a different person in terms of what
हम्म.
your cells are. But what is that cellular memory carrying an
हम्म.
imprint, that is not changing. So things need to be taken in terms of changing at the cellular level. Because if it's working
ओके.
for 2 days, it should work more.
ओके. श्योर. थैंक्स.
The outer world of circumstances shapes itself to the inner world of thought, and both pleasant and unpleasant external conditions are factors which make for the ultimate good of the individual. As a reaper of his own harvest, man learns both of suffering and bliss. I never read this paragraph, Supriya, before, but it has the answer. So it is a combination of pleasant and unpleasant external conditions. हमारे जो
राइट.
भी external conditions हैं, They're both part because that's been there. But how that is impacting us, that choice that I want to suffer in this, or that choice, I want to learn from this, I want to grow from this, I want to be in bliss. That choice is always with us. Nobody can ever take that choice from us. And always remember, our destiny is nothing but a collection of a few consequences, and those consequences are the resultants of the choices we have made, of the seeds of thought we have sown. So अगर आपको वो डेस्टिनी में कहीं कोई इशू आ रहा है, where the situations are uncomfortable, and the consequences of whatever choices you have been making, आप जो भी अभी तक चॉइस करते आ रहे हो, if it is not working and giving you the desired consequence where you are at ease with what is as it is, that means the choice needs to be changed, and we need to stop that box of excuse for the time being and open that box of opportunities and possibilities and see what else choice do I have, because there will be, and there is no doubt about that, choices हैं. हम ना देखें, हम उसको देख के नजरअंदाज कर दें, अपने आप को जस्टिफाई करना शुरू कर दें, या अपने आप को सेल्फ जजमेंट या अपने आप के सेल्फ क्रिटिकल हो जाए, that is separate. But that choice to change that consequence, in a result, change your destiny and be at ease with what is as it is, exists. उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं. So it's not necessary. Everything is going to be goody goody, rosy rosy. चीजें ऊपर नीचे होंगी. And everything is a part of it. मुझे क्या सीखना है? मुझे तो वो देखना पड़ेगा ना. Because that thought of, taking that situation in a negative stride is also the seed sown by me. मेरे पास choice है ना. It's not that I don't have that choice. I have that choice to take that reaction seed and change it with a response seed, or to change it with a, evaluation seed, and see क्या हो रहा है. Or for that matter, a witness seed, कि क्या हो रहा है. Being a witness at that time. That choice, that seed is available. Do we make that choice or not? That depends on the individual. Because if that thought of that seed is in your awareness, it's in your knowledge bank, it exists. तो हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि it does not exist. उस सर्कमस्टांस में हमारा कितना अपने आप पे कंट्रोल है, कि हमें वो याद आ रहा है कि हमारे पास वो वाला सीड भी अवेलेबल है. That depends. But that choice always exists. So चाहे वो, it seems good or it seems bad, it can be neutral. Because good and bad is the way you are making it land on you, in your mind. Because what is outside is just factual. It's a fact. It's plain simple fact. उसको हमने तड़का डगा के अपने दिल पे लेके दिमाग को भी परेशान करके बैठ जाए, our choice. Absolutely purely an individual's choice. But मैं उसको एक डिफरेंट तरीके से सोच के समझ के यूज करने की कोशिश करूं और अपने आप से और बेटर होने की कोशिश करूं, again that choice is with me. Whether I use that choice or whatever seed I use at that time in terms of choice, in terms of my thought, that is individualistic. But that power and that knowledge exists. Following the inmost desires, aspirations, thoughts, by which he allows himself to be dominated, pursuing the will or the wisps of impure imagining, or steadfastly walking the highway of strong and high endeavor. A man at last arrives at their fruition and fulfillment in the outer conditions of his life. The laws of growth and adjustment everywhere obtain. So जो भी मेरी जर्नी है, जिस मर्जी शेप में वो ले, जो भी मेरे चॉइस है या जो भी मैंने सीड दिया है, जो भी मेरा उसका फ्रूट आ रहा है, is all the law of growth and adjustment, and everybody will go through the same. It's not कि ये मेरे साथ ही हो रहा है. You know, a lot of people have this thing when they are faced with unacceptable event, situation, circumstance or person, that ये मेरे साथ हो रहा है. No, सबके साथ होता है. It's not that, you know, these experiences don't happen to each and every, it happens to each and every individual. You are born on planet Earth, where you will actually experience what is it that you need to master, and you will experience, and you know, you will be able to make that lesson into your wisdom through duality. और कोई option नहीं है. And it is there for everybody, everywhere. Because जो हमने वहां पे सीड डाला है for fruition, वो हमें मिलेगा in our outer conditions. Nobody can change that. A man does not come to the almshouse or the jail by the tyranny of fate or circumstance, but by the pathway of groveling thoughts and base desires. Nor does a pure-minded man fall suddenly into crime by stress of any mere external force. The criminal thought that had been long secretly fostered in the heart and the hour of opportunity revealed its gathered power. Circumstance does not make the man, it reveals him to himself. I repeat, most valuable line in this chapter right now. The circumstance does not make the man or woman, it reveals him or her to himself or herself. ये जो आपके साथ आज हो रहा है, ये आज का रिजल्टेंट नहीं है. हम इसे आज चेंज करने की सोच रहे हैं, या हम अपने आप को, अपनी थॉट को आज चेंज करने की सोच रहे हैं. बट इट्स अ लॉन्ग ड्रॉन प्रोसेस फ्रॉम वेयर वी हैव स्टार्टेड. हैव यू एवर सीन a kid who's just born and probably just started to speak and say, यार लाइफ अच्छी नहीं है. He's just going to cry. He did this to me. He did that to me. I am not getting this. I want this. Pure simple. उसको कोई लेना देना नहीं है लाइफ कैसी है कैसे नहीं है. मेरे को ये खाना है, मेरे को ये चाहिए, कहानी खत्म. बट जब वो 2 साल का बच्चा करते 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 स्कूलिंग, कॉलेज, फर्स्ट जॉब, सेकंड जॉब, family life, evolves into a, full grown adult, suddenly starts talking about life is unfair. It was then when you were a 2-year-old. No, it's the same life. Life never changes. Circumstances also don't change much. But how you make that circumstance, situation, or event or person affect you, that changes. And that is, part of our evolution. So it's a long drawn process. पहले हमें सब कुछ अच्छा है, फिर धीरे 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 हम एक उसमें आते हैं, यार सब कुछ ही खराब है, फिर हम अपने आप को और सुधारने की कोशिश करते हैं. So that is where we need to learn and grow so that we are able to truly evolve and fulfill for what we are here. So जो ये thought है, यही आपको हर एक चीज में, हर एक प्रोसेस में हेल्प कर रही है. In your entire journey here, your thought is the most important thing you have. Because that's the only thing that's yours. That's the only thing where there is your free will. And that's the only choice you have, which does have the power to change your consequence in order to change your destiny, in order to change your life. There's no other thing that can work at that root level or that seed level to get you to where you want to be, or to make you at that comfort or that or at that situation of being at ease with what is as it is.